So I've been talking about the Oloro deck for a while, and I do like it. It has certain things that are very powerful, like Wall of Lost Dreams, to draw many cards, and it has the ability to play a lot of pretty broken things, like if you run the creature version, you get Sarah Ascendant, Dark Confidant easily. If you don't, you've got still access to a number of powerful things, but I don't like its inability to efficiently and easily deal with mass amounts of artifacts and to do it all on the cheap. There's really nothing in the format that's as good as Vandal Blast and Ancient Grudge for handling things like that. And Sliver Queen, not only does it get to run those two, but it still has room for Disenchant, it still has room for Bant Charm, it still has room for Vindicate. And for those reasons and the fact that it has all the tutors it has, it is very, very good at taking down the most important permanents in the format, which are artifacts. As far as artifacts goes, I've made some cuts to the artifact mana that I'm using. If you've seen one of the older lists, and I actually use the cuts. I pulled out Mox Opal and Grim Monolith to add in an extra land. I added Reflecting Pool into the deck, and I also added in a Mirror Universe to the deck. And I added Mirror because what I noticed from playing Oloro was the power of having so much additional life. You know, in any given game, I might gain 10, 20 life. Well, Mirror Universe is the power of having 40 extra life, and it's a fireball for 39, wrapped up in one card. So I actually often have more life than the Oloro player would if I were playing the Oloro deck. It's very strange, but I just take all kinds of damage, and it's no problem because my opponent finds out later that they've been killing themselves. In that, as far as Mirror goes, I've got to finish somebody off, Fire and Ice, and I've got Staff of Nin, which can both do the job. To get myself down low in life, I've got all my sack lands and fetch lands, my come into play tap lands, my Ancient Tomb. I also have the Limb Duel's Vault combo. Basically, you untap with Mirror Universe and play. You can play Mirror Universe with 40 life, go to your upkeep, cast Limb Duel's Vault down to 1, activate Mirror Universe. Suddenly they're at 1. I've got Skeletal Scrying to assist with that. And then on the life gain side, I can give my opponent extra life, which will later come back to me through Swords to Plowshares. That's the only card I have for doing that. So now I'm going to go through some games. What I'm doing is just selecting the first game, and I'll just run through every game that's in my recording for the day if I can. It may take a while, and we'll see what happens. So let's go to game 1, which I actually already brought up here, I think. Duel. There we are. Okay. So remember, we're going backwards in time, so I'm going to at some point reach a moment where the deck was not quite as put together as it is now, and at that point I'm going to stop. But expect this to be probably a pretty long video, even though I'm going to be playing very rapidly. So my opponent is playing Tariq. He's at the bottom and he's going first. I've got a Soaring Draw and he's got a Soaring Draw, but here's what I'm talking about. Demonic Tutor, Ancient Grudge, and I'm all set up to kill his boots next turn if I want to. Down comes Lotus. He casts his commander, and goodbye boots. So my turn, I draw a land, and I'm able to play Mox Diamond, which I then use to I cast Tezzeret, minimizing my queen. Bant Charm, another tool that was lacking from Oloro, makes his indestructible commander go bye-bye, and we lock the game down with Tezzeret and say goodbye, have a nice day. Game over. So let's see, what is this just for fun? Close this. Alright, so next game I'm playing against Zasenchek, and he is playing first. He wins a dice roll. And are we going to glitch? What's going to happen? Okay. So he's playing Marath, and I'm playing Queen, of course. I'll just minimize my commander. And we'll get started. Another hand that's like, okay, but it's got Brainstorm, Vault, and it's got Grudge. Top deck of Verge there, so that's cool. And then I just go ahead and put my will back, and it's liable to be good and it doesn't take that long for it to be good, but I have a lot of good cards in my hand, so I figured it'd be fine. Go ahead and get the Abyss down. I didn't really want to put away Grudge and then have him cast like Sword of whatever and whatever and regret it. So go ahead and put Fire Ice under Isochron to deal with this 5/5. He plays Gilded Lotus, and now I'm really glad that I've got my Grudge. He plays this thing, Curse of Predation, so he gets a put a +1/+1 counter on his creatures when they swing. Hopefully he won't be doing too much of that, right? Tap his guy, and goodbye Lotus. With a disenchant waiting to happen for his next artifact. So I go ahead and fetch an Orb now since he's tapped down. And I was thinking Orb, Isochron, Fire Ice seems like a good combo, but with his big guy in play, it's not that good. He doesn't swing there because he's thinking that I'll block with my 3/3 and then fire his guy. He forgets about his curse, and then the next turn he realizes he's got it and he starts swinging. So just charge up and then Factor Fiction, and I end up taking the Mystical Teaching Scrub pile. Now this is the other thing I really like about having Grudge in the deck. It's actually not a big deal for me to grudge my own Orb away when it becomes inconvenient, and it's gotten inconvenient. Thanks to Fire of Yavimaya, he swings in for a lot of damage, and he gets a Soul Ring as well. I can't counter his guy. And then on his next turn, I go ahead and just ice his Spellbreaker. He kills my guy with Marath's ability and smashes for some damage. And I go ahead and grudge away my Winter Orb, which allows me to upkeep, fetch Mystical Tutor for Terminus, and then reveal Terminus for a Miracle. I ice just because I have mana floating and say go with enough mana to cast a counter, which I do. I'm at 9. Regrow or cast Vest here. Take 50% of his hand, leaving him with just one card. And then I go ahead and fetch Skeletal Scrying. Seems a little crazy to go get Skeletal Scrying at 9 life, but it is not, I assure you. So I regrow a counter, fetch up a Strip Mine, play Strip, don't use it, and pass. And then he casts Tooth and Nail, I cast Cryptic with draw a card. Now the top card of my library is blah blah blah, Mirror Universe. So I have Fire and Ice on a stick. So the top card of my library is Mirror, so I go get Mirror, untap, throw down Mirror Universe with a charge. Well, I get to draw a card, draw the Mirror, and then draw whatever for the turn. Anyway, I cast Mirror Universe there, and then what I do is I would fetch with Vest a counterspell. Just put it on top and say go. If he makes me need a counterspell, I activate Isochron in response using Ice, draw up the counter, and then play it. If he doesn't, if he just plays like a creature threat or whatever, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I end of turn Skeletal Scrying for 7, drop down to 2. I could also just untap and do it during my upkeep. And then during my upkeep, I sacrifice Mirror Universe, exchange life with him, cast Fire, and he dies. He actually gave up there though, so that's fine. Why does it keep opening just for fun? I have no idea. So that's kind of annoying. So I'm playing against Bullet Stampede. Obviously it's going to open the just for fun room afterwards. He's playing Karador, so just kind of keep that in mind, I guess. Actually, I didn't mean to minimize his commander, so there we go. And you know, Queen almost never gets cast in this deck until you play like mono green, and then suddenly it's just totally amazing. They run afoul of it, and it might as well be a moat. Not only that, but it's a serious clock for them. Very few green creatures, are big enough to handle a 7/7. But even when they have a blocker, ultimately you just swarm around them and kill them, or remove the blocker. So anyway, or play the Abyss and just feed it babies until all their guys are dead. So I make like a techie play here in response to his exile effect. I actually exile my own card with Skeletal Scrying for 1. And then on his turn he Acidic Slimes my Sylvan, and not my Lotus, which was totally awesome. So I go fetch myself a Mirror and play Mirror Universe. And then Mind Twist his hand away, so he's playing Karador. And he top decks nothing, just a swamp, and decides not to attack himself. and I start doing future sight shenanigans. No top, but hey, spinning through a bunch of cards here, and I kill some of his land, fetch up a wasteland, say go. He plays some kind of monstrosity thing, doesn't matter. And then so I find a Yawgmoth's Will, and go ahead and will, and he exiles Sylvan Library in response, and that is cool by me. So I fetch Humility, play it off the top, and then with the will still running, cast a nice big Skeletal Scrying, and exile all the rest of the cards from the graveyard. He plays a 1/1 with no abilities, and looking at the board, he gives up. I'm at 10, so well, suffice to say, he was certainly going to be doomed, but Mirror Universe is acting like a virtual mode here because, I mean, what is he going to do? Attack so that he takes damage, and if he doesn't, and if he does, if he attacks with 5, I'm going to throw down my queen, actually, and then he can attack with 4 and take himself down to 1, basically. He just decides that he doesn't want to even try to deal with Moat with an empty hand. I mean, not Moat, but Mirror Universe with an empty hand. Me at 9 life and a full hand, so he gives up, and he was right to do so. So Mirror can certainly be an awesome moat in that way. Anyhow, so here's another guy playing Karador, totally different guy, but I'm seeing a lot of like precons and freebies EDH players here. So I go ahead and I have 2 islands and an Imperial Seal and a Jace in my hand, so I vamp for first turn, vamp Imperial Seal, second turn Crypt Jace. Turn 2 Jace is pretty good, followed by turn 3 Vess is even better. He gets down an Undo Giant. I don't know what crap I'm playing, but whatever. I clone his giant, play Winter Orb, play Strip Mine, strip his whatever land he untaps, and this turn play fetch Crucible and play it, or no, play Crucible rather, and strip again, and then bounce his Undo Giant, and it's time to start swinging. But he scoops it up. So here, EDH player. I think this is the second time I played him. I actually blocked him in this game, so I'm gonna skip it. I won this game, but he bailed when I got into a winning position. Having played me earlier, which was, you know, doubly offensive to me since he already knew what he was going to be facing. So, you know, he pursued the opportunity to play against me, and then, oh, okay, yeah, this guy, he first turn Humility against Mono Red, he just gives up. He's got nothing. It's funny because usually Mono Red would be able to put up some kind of a fight against me, but I would just now I would just Mirror Universe him anyway. So anyway, like I was saying, that other guy, for him to know what he's facing, step into the ring, and then just AFK for 10 minutes after he loses is just awful. So I blocked him. Anyway, so I keep a sketchy hand, but it has like shackles and an island, and I figure this guy has only 1 power, and this thing's only good if it can swing, so I go first turn shackles, and he just agrees with me, I guess. Agrees that that's a pretty good start, and gives up. Little does he know that the rest of my hand was not that great. I mean, if he simply had, like, you know, Vandal Blast or any of the other red artifact kills that you might play, he would have been fine. Anyway, so here I'm going first, and I go first turn tax, not off the Mox, because I want to save. Oh, excuse me, I want to save the Mox for a tax turn. So he goes Greaves, and then I get to tax. So I throw away Snow-Covered Swamp there. Figure I'd rather throw away a basic land than throw away a City of Brass, because City of Brass is actually more useful to me than a Command Tower in some cases, due to the power of exchanging life totals with my opponent. So I go ahead and just Vampiric here. I'm developing really well, and in the face of a very strong early game, he scoops. But I was gonna go get myself most likely Crucible Worlds there, and then go for Crucible Strip combo. So here he's playing Obsidat, And I've got Tithe Trick set up. I'm going to hold control when he plays his second land after he says does whatever, and respond to my own spell with a Tithe. After the Tithe resolves, not my own spell, my sack land. After Tithe resolves, the sack land resolves. And just like that, we get a beautiful start. This is looking very good, and I've got a staff in to make it even prettier. Play a mana source and strip a land. He draws, has no mana, and gives up before I can get going with staff or Tezzeret or any of that good stuff. Kind of fun there because I could have played the staff and then next turn played the Tezzeret, and then just went ahead and killed Tezzeret immediately and fetched myself a Phyrexian Metamorph to clone the staff, at which point I've got like a shotgun blast every turn, you know. So his 2/2 would have died and I would have been drawing 3 cards a turn. Seems like a pretty hard to lose from that position, I would imagine. So here I've got another Tithe play, but this time I don't have anything to do with the extra cards. So I'm going to actually end up having to discard. So looking at it, I want the green for Bant Charm, and I want the black for Mind Twist. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are staying. I'm not throwing a counterspell away. So that leaves the Abyss. Against a different deck, I might have made a different decision. And I might not have time to hold 3 counterspells, but he's playing blue-white over there, so I figure that'd be fine. He misses a land drop, so I go ahead and blow a Bant Charm on a disenchant. Or no, he didn't miss a land drop, but I blow the Bant Charm on the disenchant anyway because I figure I've got a hinder for his commander, so you know we're perfectly fine here. And I might as well just slow his mana down so he doesn't have like a commander plus a counterspell to counter my counterspell. However, he's got Cavern of Souls, and he's up to 5 mana there. And I don't have anything to stop it. But his 6th land comes into play tapped. And instead of Empiric Tutoring, I just draw a land and say go. Seems kind of crazy. So now he has his 6th land, but he doesn't use it. And I think, well, in that case, here, let me go get something good. How about Crucible Worlds? Is that okay? I'll get a counterspell to back it up anyway. And he doesn't fight over it, so I get Arid Mesa. Now I can set up my Steam Augury, and I've got my counters all ready to go. I can counter anything but his commander. And I figure that's okay, because what I could do is, if he plays his commander, I can play Tezzeret and then steal it. So go ahead and do this. And top deck a Strip Mine to go with Crucible. Down goes his stupid can't counter me land. And now we're all set. Yet another reason why I love Strip Mine. So from there we were all set, and he gives it. So here's the guy, EDH player, that I blocked, who, this is the game that he played me prior to the other one, which I didn't run through, in which he's a quitter. Well, quitting is okay, but he's an AFKer. So anyway, first turn, not too much going on. Turn 2, I throw down the Shackles just because. It's mostly bait. Rather pull some artifact removal out of his hand and then get my Orb and Diamond down. Wait, he gets Wild Growth Sakura, fetches right away. So I ramp Vess out there and then go ahead and do a fetch myself. So Acidic slimes not my Shackles, he takes my Tomb, interestingly enough. And so the top card was Strip Mine. I'll take a 2, kill your Soul Ring there, produces green mana. I hit his hand for a card, steal his slime right away so that he can't disenchant in response and then attack Vess. He plays a Sigil, and how happy I am to be holding an Ancient Grudge. So powerful. And now he's all tapped out, and we've got control, so I hit his hand for another card, kill his land, kill his artifact mana rather, and play Winter Orb, and he scoops it up. So very cool like conclusion to that. Don't like Maelstrom Wanderer, it's so luck based. Alright, so Mr. Corey Toombs is playing Jaleva. Nephilia's Scourge, and who's going first? Looks like he's going first as well. Let's get first turn top. He gets a bounce land. So risky. This game could end right there if I'd just drawn a wasteland. But I don't. However, I top and I see Wargate. So I play in a land that I need. So I set everything up and Wargate for 0 this turn. And go ahead and get myself strip mine. Wargate for 0 is the best rampant growth ever printed by far. Strip mine is it Boilerworks, and we carry on with the game. So he goes for Praetor's Grasp, and I counter that. I don't want him getting a soul ring. I don't want him getting my soul ring, especially. And then he gets Cavern of Souls, and things get interesting. I figured he would have just gave up for the strip mine there, but no, he stuck around. So now here's what's removed that he can't cast, and here's what's removed that he can. If he attacks, he gets to cast any one of these. Well, obviously casting Forbid in an attack phase is worthless, but Regrowth and Vampiric, that's a real pain. So I go ahead and just bounce his dude. Let's get this doggone Cavern of Souls. However, I've got Vindicate. So I was hoping, by now he was out of red, but nope. Down comes his commander again. So the exiled pile gets bigger over there. And now he's got double Time Walk and a Mystical Teachings. That's bad. So I tithe, and then upkeep, and Limdol's Vault. And I get Humility instead of terminusing his guy. Humility is a bit of a risk since, on the one hand, since he may be able to bounce it, but on the other hand, if he doesn't actually have bounce for it, there's very, very little else he can do to it, and Humility will protect me from, he can't play Maul Drifter, he can't play Shadow Mage, he can't play Dark Confidant. I don't know if he plays any of those cards, but he sure loves his freaking Time Walks. So, 5 mana, deal 1 damage to your opponent, and untap 5 lands, put another land into play. I don't know. It's okay, but not great. Of course, if I didn't have his guy locked down, man, he would have attacked Time Walk, attacked Time Walk, attacked Time Walk, attacked Time Walk. I mean, Jesus, the game would have been pretty well over, and how horrible it would have been. So for some crazy reason, he clones his commander. Maybe so he can recast it and get more stuff to put under it, I guess. I don't really know. I don't think that really helps, though, because I have Humility. So anyway, I play Moat, and then I just fetch a Skeletal Scrying. I've got Yawgmoth's Will here, too. But, to end of turn, I make a big scry, figuring he's probably not really running too many counterspells, just because it doesn't really work with his commander all that well, and plus I see a lot of Time Walks. Usually the Time Walk guys don't play a lot of counters, and it works out for me. Skeletal Scrying hits. I go ahead and fetch myself a Fire Ice. No, a counterspell, excuse me. This is my graveyard. Let's fetch myself a counterspell, protect the position when you're winning. And yeah, I'll take 4 cards. Yum. Keep your Crucible in your strip mine. So next turn, he does nothing, and then I'm able to do some crazy stuff with Tezzeret and Vess. Start chunking away at his hand. I'll remove the exiled cards. And his commander. So, I eat up his hand, and then after he's got basically no hand but the 1 card, put a counterspell under an Isochron, and at that point he gives up. I guess if you have no cards in hand, and I have a discard outlet and a counterspell under a stick, you're not casting much, that's for sure. You can cast an instant, have it get countered, and then on the next turn you can draw something and cast whatever it was you drew, but that's kind of a stretch. Anyway, so here I'm playing against Stasis Monger. Should be interesting. Especially if you were actually playing Stasis, that would be cool. It's a card that I think needs to be broken in this format. Somebody should play the blue commander that lets you draw 2 cards, the Howling Mind guy, and set up a Turbo Stasis stack, a Howling Mind deck. I think that'd be really interesting. If I lost the roll to Stasis Monger, what's going to happen here? There we go. Alright. Oh yeah, metamorph. Another way I can turn my mirror universe on faster. All these little things are little things, but you know, it adds up. Oh yeah, so here's the deal. I guess for some reason I clicked on this guy's name thinking he was playing Commander, but he was playing Classic. And I was like, okay, well I got a great hand, so let's just play it out and see what happens. He's playing some kind of trashy deck. But I am already at 16. And anyway, so I'm teachings from Mana Drain and then start vaulting. Vaulting. And go get myself a Mind Twist. Twist away this guy's hand. I'm not sure that it matters too much, but you know the Queen deck doesn't care. Commander, no commander, 40 life, 20 life, doesn't care all that much. So he gets Kozilek's Predator down, which gives him a couple of other guys that go with it. Hits me for some damage. It's fine. Sporomunder thing, that's not fine. And then I Mana Drain that. End of turn Mystical Teachings for Enlightened Tutor. Upkeep Enlightened Tutor. Drawing Mirror Universe. And then use the Mana Drain mana to pump it into Mirror. As well as cast a Metamorph cloning the Kozilek's Predator. Which gives me 2 extra guys and I have a counter spell. He's down to top decking. So he draws Farhaven Elf, that's cool. Says go. I don't even sack a mirror, I just will. Vampiric Tutor. And say go. So he plays another Predator, that's fine. Upkeep, I exchange life, draw, and fire him off. Bye-bye. Such a simple way to, you know, get your kill. But effective. So that was Stasis Monger. Here's Mucilage. Playing Hazian Tamar. So he gets to go first. I get turn 1 Scroll Rack using Tomb, because Tomb will be more generally useful than Shop, I think. And I shuffle away most of the other stuff. Don't really like what's on top, and I don't really like what's in my hand all that much, other than the top card there, so I go ahead and just get rid of most of it, and then start attacking his mana. So he gets this random 2/2 guy, and I strip his land, and go ahead and fetch myself a Sylvan Library. I can start drawing cards. Upkeep, I Tithe, because I don't like the top cards anyway. And start paying life with Sylvan as well, and then activate Scroll Rack to dig much deeper. And find all this nice stuff. Look at how fast I've damaged myself. I'm already down to 15. No problem, I'm doing it on purpose. Let's get down Moat so I can control the speed at which I'm taking damage. He goes for a way to make it so I can't control the speed, so in response, Mystical Tutor for force, and then I just force it away. Figuring, you know, I'm banking on the deck finding more ways to go get what I want. It's good at doing that. I draw a Factor Fiction. So I brainstorm, I take the brainstorm into the fact, play a sack land and shuffle away the 2 lands that were on top, because I didn't really want to fact into that. And then I play attacks and pass for the turn. He plays Mimic Vat, not important, and I fact into 5 lands. Craziness. Now this is an older version of the deck, so this will be the last game. But you can see I'm running Grove of the Burn Willows, and I'm also running in here, and I'm also running Punishing Fire. I took both of those cards out and just made it Staff of Nin, and then Punishing Fire. I forget what it became, but bottom line is it was 2 slots to get 1 effect, or 1 slot to get the effect. And Punishing Fire, while I could kill this guy here and pick it back up or whatever, that's nowhere near as useful as being able to play a Staff of Nin and just ignoring his guy because of Moat, plus having an extra slot in the deck. So, just messing around with tax rack tricks now. I go ahead and fetch myself a Mirror Universe and pass. I deturn Vamp for Fire Ice. Activate scroll rack. Oh, for punishing fire in this case, whatever. It would have been fire ice, and normally, like I said, I have replaced this card. And then still my upkeep, I tax. I skeletal scrying for 4. Sack. And switch life with him. Suddenly he's at 1, and I'm at 40. And 1 lightning bolt to the head finishes it up. Well, not a lightning bolt, but you get my point. Anyway, like I said, Punishing Fire was in and that land was in. It's gone now. I talked about the deck at the beginning, but for my friends who know that I always bring up the deck list at the end, if you've skipped ahead, here is the list. Be sure to pause it or go back to the beginning and listen to why I chose the cards that I did. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you enjoyed seeing Sliver Queen in action, and you can look forward to seeing some more. As I said, I think this probably is superior to Oloro because it's just more consistent, consistently disruptive. And that's it. Thanks for watching.